Well, good evening. Welcome to Game Day Live on the Sportsman. What a cracker we've got lined up for you in the Betfred Championship semi-finals. York Knights against Halifax Panthers, facing off for a place in next week's grand final. Alongside me for this one, John Keir. John, I've been looking forward to this game all week. We've got to talk about York. They've been the team in the Championship all season, the trendsetters, the pace setters, but it's very different when it's knockout football.
It is very different when it's knockout rugby league, but the fact is, I believe how York play the game is absolutely ideal for knockout rugby league. They've got a back five who are very strong in yardage. They've got a great kicking game from Lee and Harris, and then they really do question you when you receive your ball in your own half, cleared in your own end. So I think they're the ideal team to build pressure and put pressure on this Panthers side.
I will just talk. You mentioned Liam Harris. Is he the key today from a York perspective, you think?
I think their 1-6-7-9 has been instrumental in this great run of form that they've had. I mean, Paul McShane's been sensational. Both half-backs have contributed fully, and they've got a full-back who is a heck of a handful. So they will ask questions of this Halifax Panthers side. But the Panthers ain't bad either on the back of that Oldham performance. No,
we'll talk about that performance. We speak about the halves for York. Well, George Whitby in the side again for Halifax on dual registration from St Helens. Player of the match last week. How important could he be if they are going to get the job done?
It's vital. It's absolutely vital. He had the ball on a string last week. His kicking game was great. His ball handling was great. And the team just looked at ease completely with George pulling the string. So he will be very, very important indeed. But so is Jouffre coming into the side. The French international, who's a different type of player to George Whitby. So it will be an interesting contrast between the two sides.
Yeah, not long to go now until kick-off. Building up here at the LNER Stadium. Let's hear from both head coaches. Halifax Panthers, Carl Eastman, and from the York Knights, Mark Applegarth. Mark, good to see you. Massive day, of course, in the context of this season. What's the preparation been like?
Yeah, obviously we had last week off, so we got some pretty intense training into us. We trained Sunday morning, so we tried replicating as normal week as much as we could, with a match day, and everyone's just looking forward to it now. We know exactly what to expect from ourselves. We know exactly what to expect in terms of Halifax and the opposition, so it's just a case now of nailing it on the day, and both teams will be saying exactly the same thing, and really looking forward to it, and may the best team win.
You come into this afternoon obviously after a remarkable run really in the regular season. Does it feel slightly different, even though you've got that wind in your sails, obviously with it being a knockout game?
Yeah, well, it's a new competition in my eyes. Obviously the league campaign's over sustained months, whereas you're into knockout rugby now, so naturally it's got a different feel to it, but it's one that we've experienced before in the cup competition earlier on, and it's one that we're all looking forward to. You want to test yourself on the biggest stages, and in terms of the championship, this is the biggest stage, so really looking forward to it. Halifax are a quality opposition. I thought they did an excellent number on Oldham last week, and we know we need to be at its best if we want anything out of this game tonight. Yeah,
Fax probably produced their best 80 minutes of the season last time out. I know you'll have done your homework. You must be expecting that level from them again.
Yeah, 100%. I think Carl's done a fantastic job with them this year. Fax were the team to beat at the start of the year, and one thing you always get when you play an Halifax team is that physicality. I thought they were excellent. They absolutely smothered Oldham every time they had the ball. They ran really hard, offered a lot of threat. So, we know we're up against it today, but at the same time, we know we've got a lot of threat in our ranks. We know what we're about too, and as I've just alluded to there, it's whoever can put it all together in the 80 minutes on the day that'll go through to the final next week.
And just finally, obviously, home field advantage. In terms of the journey that this club's on, this place should be pretty full. You'll have a good crowd behind you. It could be a pretty special day in this club's history, couldn't it? Yeah,
I hope so. I think the key to it all for us is just taking all that emotion out of it and just focusing on the task at hand. Personally, it's great to see this sort of rugby back at York, and it's exciting times on and off the field, but our job's just to focus on what we can control, and that's putting together an 80-minute performance against quality opposition. So I've got no doubt the atmosphere will be rocking off both sets of fans. Exactly what you want playoff rugby to be, and Hopefully both teams can put on a game that they'll all remember for years to come.
Well, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Kyle, great to have you with us again. I know you've had a really good week after Friday night. I guess you must be full of confidence ahead of today.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? We've prepared well. We had a good performance last week. We understand we're against a great team this year who've been performing really well, but we're confident. We've prepared as best we can, and look, we're looking forward to it.
You've had plenty of sparring sessions against York this season. You'll know them pretty well. Has that helped in terms of preparing game plans and things like that?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, we've prepared as best we can, and we know how good of a side they are. But I'm sure they understand we're a good team too. It's one of those games now. I'm sick of the talking. I'm sick of the training. I want to play. I'm looking forward to seeing the team go out there and perform. You've
obviously been in knockout mode for a little bit longer than York have in terms of this playoff system. Does that give you a little bit of an edge, a bit more battle hardened, kind of used to what's at stake? I don't think so. You don't go on the run that York have been on this year if they don't turn up in the right mindset every single week. They're a good side, well-coached team. I think the last 6 games for us, though, has been good for us in terms of having to turn up with that right mindset and knock 6 and 7 games off in a row. Puts us in a good position. You've kept George Whitby on dual registration from Saints. He was he had the ball on the string last week. How big is it that you've got him in this game? Yeah, it's really important. I'd like to mention, though, the lads who've been in these positions, Jack Hansen, the Woodburn-Alls, they've done a great job for us as well this year, haven't they? But George come in and performed really well, and when you're playing playoff games, you've got to be able to build pressure, and I thought he did that great last week. You built pressure last week by being defensively excellent as well. I guess that's a message that you've reinforced all week. Absolutely. I think these games come down to building pressure, having the right discipline and being able to defend your own goal line with the right urgency and intensity. And we showed that last week, but you've got to be able to do it every week, and that'll be the test. Well, best of luck this afternoon. Thank you very much. Nice. Cheers. One. 80 minutes to decide who will be playing in next week's Betfred Championship Grand Final. Let's take a look at the two teams then this evening. Starting off with the home team, the League Leaders Shield winners, York Knights. They start with Toa Mata'afa at full back. He's got a wing pairing of Ben Jones-Bishop and Scott Galliano outside him, and Kieran Buchanan and Ollie Field in the centres. Ata Hingano and Liam Harris are the halfbacks for York, playing behind the pack, fronted up by Jack Martin, Bailey Antrobus and Paul McShane. Jesse D and Connor Bailey are in the second row. Jordan Thompson, with all of that experience, locks in the 13 for Mark Applegarth. Coming off the bench for the home team, Brendan Santee, Sam Cook, Kieran Hudson and Mitch Clark will provide the reinforcements. The Halifax Panthers, well, how good were they last time out in the Eliminator against Oldham? Can they do it again? They start off with David Nofaluma at full-back. Ben Tibbs and Charlie Graham are the wingers, with Ben Crooks and Alfie Johnson paired together in the centres. Louis Dufret returns to the side alongside George Whitby. They play behind a pack with Brandon Douglas, Ronan Dixon and Adam O'Brien in the front row. It's a second row pairing of Owen McCarron and Jacob Fairbank, with Connor Davies completing the starting lineup for Carl Eastman's side. Tom Inman, Will Cowcott, Brad Graham and Leon Cohen will provide the reinforcements from the bench throughout the 80 minutes. Alongside me to bring you this one, John Keir. John, we've been saying off air how excited we've been for this game all week. Semi-final rugby league, two outstanding teams, both in good form. We could have an absolute classic on our hands.
I think that's definitely the case, because the playing surface, we've been out there as well, Lewis, and it's in superb condition, and it really is. It looks absolutely fantastic with regard to what we should expect. We've got some great players on show. We've got one team with 19 successive victories, the other team coming off the back of a sensational win over Oldham. So the scene is really set and the stakes are very, very high indeed.
Yeah, you have to go back to the 18th of April for the last time the York Knights tasted defeat. That was against Featherstone Rovers. They only lost by 2 points on that occasion as well. But as we've said, Halifax Panthers will be absolutely flying after finding their best 80 minutes of the year in the Eliminators last week at Oldham. They've met a few times already this season. Halifax inflicting a rare defeat on York earlier on in the year. The last time out, it was York who got the win, played at Odsall 1912 against Halifax. So they both know each other pretty well. They both know how to beat each other, but semi-final football is a very different beast to the regular season. Good crowd building up around us here at the LNER Stadium. Plenty of Halifax fans to our right. They'll come into the game, I'm sure, throughout. But John, this is it's the best time of year, isn't it, when you get to playoffs? But nights like this, days like this, it's very, very easy to get excited about.
It is, and it's just great that it's trapdoor football. You know, I mean, you lose it and it's goodbye. You may as well book your holidays because you're away on the beach. Whereas, should you be successful and should you win, you're obviously progressing to the game of the season, which is obviously the grand final. And I think there's two teams who are expecting to play well, who are expecting to give themselves a chance of the honour of that grand final at the end of the season. And as in all times like this, when it's knockout rugby league, it really does come down to on the night, how they've prepared and then how they execute. And I'm certain we've got two teams really ready to rock and roll tonight.
Well, you mentioned the playing surface. It is a carpet. Bit of a mixed weather forecast, but holding off for the time being. So no excuses tonight. Just 80 minutes of rock and roll rugby league to decide who will take their place in next week's championship grand final. Lots of talk about how the Super League places are going to be decided this season. Not all on the field. But you try telling these players and these fans that it doesn't mean anything tonight. There is a lot on the line here in York.
Basically, Lewis, it's the season's work, isn't it? It comes down to that. Their full season's work comes down to this 80 minutes, which would allow them to have the opportunity to claim the greatest honour at this level. And you can just tell that it feels, Lewis, like a big game. It really does, you know, with the crowd coming in and making a great atmosphere. But you can also tell how the players warmed up. They warmed up with a certain focus, a certain intensity and a certain intent.
Just talk about the two coaching boxes as well, because two fantastic stories in there. Mark Applegarth, who had a real tough time of things at Wakefield in a really difficult situation in that year in Super League, and then Kyle Eastman, who, let's be honest, a few eyebrows were raised when he was announced as the Halifax Panthers head coach, but he has done an absolutely superb job. Yeah,
well, he's got great experience in both codes of rugby as Kyle Eastman, and he's obviously using that to great effect. And when he talks, he's got that aura about them that you listen with intent when he talks, and that's obviously, it transfers down to the players. But Mark Applegarth, he is a friend of mine. I've coached him, actually, and Mark's, he coaches how we played. He's honest, he's tough, and he's no nonsense, and he's high work rate.
So the two teams are in the tunnel, ready to come out to a cauldron of noise here in York. 80 minutes of Betfred Championship Rugby League on the way. You can feel in the atmosphere there's a fizz around the place, a buzz around the place. Fans know what's about to happen. They know what we're about to get. Fantastic to have you with us on the Sportsman. Brilliant to be able to bring you this Betfred Championship semi-final.
Well, even the temperature, Lewis. Yeah, even the temperature feels like playoff rugby, doesn't it? There's a drop in temperature, there's a chill in the air, and if we do get the rain, we really do know it is playoff rugby league.
So final preparations taking place in the tunnel. I can just see York have arrived next to Halifax, ready to emerge. We will have a minute's silence ahead of kickoff in memory of Pam Calver, a long-term York supporter and friend of the club. Ben Crooks and Liam Harris ready to lead their teams out into a Betfred Championship semi-final. Here we go, York Knights chasing that Championship Grand Slam, of course. The 1895 Cup and the League Leaders Shield already in the cabinet against the Halifax Panthers team, who are on a journey of their own and would just love to cause another upset under the lights here in York. Great noise from both sets of fans as the teams emerge. The Halifax fans in good numbers to our right-hand side. They'll have been full of confidence all week after that performance against Oldham. So they should be. But they are, of course, up against a York team that haven't lost since mid-April. We've got a minute's silence before kick-off here in memory of Pam Calvert, a long-term supporter of the York Rugby League club. He recently passed away. Perfect minute silence inside the stadium in memory of York supporter Pam Calvert. And now time for semi-final rugby league here on the Sportsman. One team will go on to the grand final. One team, well, their season will be over. You can feel the significance inside the stadium, building up all week to this one. Both clubs, Bradford and Toulouse, of course, in action in the other semi-final tomorrow.
One set, George, right there.
George Whitby on dual registration from St Helens has the ball on the tee. Tom Grant is our referee, and we are underway in the Betfred Championship semi-finals. And straight away, bounce of the ball causing problems. Just sat up from the kickoff.
It's your ball, it's your ball. Halifax ball, yeah.
Slightly strange early win.
Where you going, mate?
Yeah, great kick-off, wasn't it, from George Whitby? Already made an impression upon this semi-final. It was a swirling, a difficult flight of the ball to pick up, and the really experienced Ben Jones-Bishop there just came up with an error.
Hold that line, please.
So it's a great opportunity within the first minute for Halifax to start a set right in front of the post in great attacking position.
George Whitby's boot was in enchanted form against Oldham last week. He's already at it again here, and a perfect opportunity for Halifax to strike an early blow in this game as they come out to the right-hand side. Brooks will play the ball 5 metres away.
Off that ball.
York's defence up quickly in the first couple of tackles of this set, but Halifax will be in no rush. In fact, they've gone back 10 here, suggesting that was held up over the line. So here come Halifax again. Up the middle with Ronan Dixon. Former York man, of course, knows this place very well. Jouffre brings us out to the left-hand side. Just keeping it tight for the time being, not looking to the edge yet, Halifax, but still tackles in hand in this set to do just that. Shape is out to the right-hand side. Brandon Douglas tries to roll his way over on the score sheet last Friday, of course. Here's Whitby. Now they'll look to find some width out to Graham. That's gone to ground. I thought for a second we were going to come back there, but it is York in possession, and they survive an early scare job.
Well, referee Tom Grant there waved that as play on, but I had my doubts about that. But York asking no questions, and they handled that first attacking set there from Halifax really well. But all credit there to the wingman Scott Galliano. He really got up into the faces of
but an error.
of the Halifax attack, but that's 2 errors from York already in yardage, bringing it out from their own end. They haven't had to play the ball in the Halifax half yet.
Well, Jack Martin did the hard bit. It was a decent carry from the former Queensland under-19, but leaves the ball on the ground, and York inviting pressure on early on in this game.
Yeah, it was Douglas and O'Brien, wasn't it? Who were very, very physical there in the contact. And once again, a great opportunity for Halifax.
So the Panthers back in possession. Second set of the game. 3 minutes or so in, and we've not really seen. Well, York have had 1 carry of the ball. It's been Halifax in possession so far. Just working their way slowly upfield. They'll start from the 30-metre mark here. Slightly messy pass evades Whitby, but Jouffret on hand to tidy up. O'Brien in at dummy half. Just a short ball left for Connor Davies to carry.
Some good ruck control though by the York Knights there. They're allowing their defensive line to retreat and get set before the next play, but decent carry there from Douglas.
So players left and right of the ruck. O'Brien brings it to the left-hand side. Jouffret puts the first kick up. Taken him well. Ben Jones-Bishop on that far side. Plenty of experience, of course. Knows exactly where to be.
Yeah, that's what you expect off the right wingman there, Ben Jones-Bishop. As you rightly say, Lewis, plenty of experience and cool, calm and collected under pressure of that high kick.
I'm sure York would have looked at the kicking game plan of Halifax last week and come up with a plan to try and nullify it. Yeah, they are starting this set deep inside their own territory.
Absolutely relentless last week, weren't they, with that kicking plan? And but if they're going to aim for Jones-Bishop, I'll tell you, he'll defuse them.
So Paul McShane at dummy half, played in a Betfred Super League Grand Final, of course, a few years ago. Now looking to do the same in the Championship. His kick will be from just short of halfway. Look to try and turn Halifax around. Charlie Graham will go back and clean up and now look to return with interest. And good carry from Graham, gets his team on the front foot.
Yeah, it really was a good carry, that, but that's more like York there, completing sets. Good kick, which gained some field position.
Halifax already making decent progress in this set, just short of halfway is Brandon Douglas. He'll play the ball and they'll come out to the right hand side. Whitby will come right up to the line and then look for David Nofaluma, another player who had a very good game against Oldham last week. 100 tries in the NRL for the West Tigers, of course, so knows how to get around. And here's Crooks for a gap up the middle. Halifax could be in here. Whitby manages to get through, can't quite find the space. I think it's McShane who's got across to shut that down, but still tackles in this set for Halifax to try and make something happen. In fact, this is the last. Jouffret stabs the kick through. And now he's York away. Here's Ben Jones-Bishop. Can he find some space? Yes, he can. Jones-Bishop's way up the right-hand side. Has he got the legs to go the distance? Graham gets across, but Jones-Bishop will go coast to coast and open the scoring for York. And after Halifax were an ankle tap away from 4 points of their own, York go length of the field. And 6 minutes in, we have our first try, John Keir.
What an outstanding try it is as well. You know, York really have been under pressure in the early parts of this game. But my word, that kick there from Jouffret wasn't the best kick. And it just bounced up very, very, very gratefully for Matafa there. And he just looked for the speedster. The speedster that is Ben Jones-Bishop. And my words, he pins his ears back. And look, this is his experience here. He clears Graham, and then he's thinking, I'm going to make sure that 4 becomes 6, and crosses right behind the post. Tremendous work there from the right wingman, Jones-Bishop. And that's what York can do. They can go the full length of the field because they've got pace aplenty in the backs.
29th Betfred Championship try of the season for Ben Jones-Bishop. Top of the charts, and you can see why. That turn of pace that we've seen at many a club over the years in full evidence there. And that is a bit of a body blow for Halifax, because as you say, they've had a few sets on the York line. George Whitby just an ankle tap away from scoring himself, and then all of a sudden they find themselves underneath their own sticks with Liam Harris, you would think, set to turn 4 into 6.
Well, when Whitby received the ball from that break from Crooks, he looked all on the scorer, didn't it? So it was a great scramble there. I think it was Paul McShane Lewis. And then the end result after that is a 90-yard try.
So Harris from dead in front. Still taking his time over this one, but brushes the conversion through the sticks. He's had some big moments, of course, Liam Harris this season. A golden point drop goal at Wembley as York lifted the 1895 trophy under the arch.
But what a tremendous piece of play there from Matafa. Straight away, he's just looking for the guy who can catch pigeons. And my word, he does that. And I just love the experience and composure of Jones Bishop. He clears Charlie Graham, and by doing that, it just buys him that extra half metre so he can then get round the post. And it made an easy kick for Liam Harris.
Bit more of a routine kick reception on that occasion from York, back with ball in hand. And after a couple of early errors, you just feel that that try will have settled a few nerves and maybe just settled them into this game a little bit. And there could be a way again up the right hand side. Here's Jones Bishops once more, puts a kick in. Will the bounce be kind? Oh, now referee's got a decision to make here.
Yeah, I think he's going to
straight to his pocket. Yellow card.
Well,
I don't think there was much else he could give in that situation.
He's got another decision to make as well with regard to a penalty try, I think. Because my word, again, they love the short side, do the York, and you know, he's one of the best at it, Paul McShane. He released that right side. Jones Bishop put the kick in, and it was Ben Crooks there who was scrambling across, who's now received 10 minutes in the sin bin to cool his heels. But it's just a penalty. I think the referee couldn't be sure that Connor Bailey...
Oh, he still had some work to do, didn't he?
He did. He had to claim the ball and ground it, but now Halifax are under the cosh.
So York keeping it rolling with the penalty, not going for the 2. They're a player to the good, and they fancy some more points here as McShane brings us to the left-hand side to Harris. Short ball from Harris to Jordan Thompson, who tries to just go over the top. Eventually he is stopped. Now Hingano, big ball over the top from Hingano to Galliano. And it's the other York winger who scores inside 10 minutes here in this semi-final. Really good ball over the top from Atta Hingano, but that looked very simple for York.
It was outstanding. They made full use there of 13 on 12. Stripped the right side of the Halifax Panthers' defence of numbers. And what a great choice of pass there from Atta Hingano. The standoff half for York City Knights. But this is the sin bin. A lovely kick there from Jones Bishop. It wouldn't bounce up for Bailey, but it gets taken out by Crooks. The referee has no option but to 6 Crooks down for 10 minutes. And then they make full use of that extra number. And what a lovely little pass that is to Scott Galliano. He just lobbed it over the top there of this onrushing right side Halifax defence for a really good try.
So Liam Harris with his second attempt of the afternoon to convert Scott Galliano's effort. His 19th try of the championship season. Product of the Sunshine Coast Falcons, one of the feeder clubs of the Melbourne Storm. So another player who will know his way around a rugby league field. Certainly knew his way to the try line there. We saw that replay again, John. I don't think on that evidence you can give the penalty try. The ball was bouncing on at quite a speed.
Yeah, it got to claim it or be able to ground it, and the referee had to be sure of that. But credit to York, they've been so clinical there that they've had 2 opportunities, in all honesty, and they've taken both.
So Liam Harris, slightly more complicated than his first conversion of the evening. The top point scorer in the Betfred Championship. 224 to his name so far. and it'll stay at that number as he pushes it to the left-hand side of the post. But 12 minutes into this game, John, what a breathless start to this semi-final. Two tries, we've got an ankle tap try saver, a yellow card. It's all happening.
Look at that there, McShane. Tremendous there. His deception at dummy half is sensitive. He looks for everything. You look at it as if he's going to play big side, and all of a sudden at the last minute he just changed and plays short side, and that allowed Hingano to pick out the left wing man, Scott Galliano, in jumper 35 for a tremendous try. 10-0. The Panthers are behind the black ball.
So Halifax kick deep left. We're only 12 or so minutes into this game. 10 points in the favour of York feels already like a big margin. Halifax started really well. There's a storm to weather for the next probably 8 minutes or so with a man in the bin, but the Knights again on the front foot.
And isn't John Tonson such a good player? You know, he's out there for virtually the full game, and his quality during that 80 minutes is inevitably really good.
And again, York looking for space on this left-hand side. Field just shut down before he could get through the gap. This is the last, so Harris will put boot to ball high up into the air for Nofaluma to drift underneath, and that's gone to ground.
Yeah, spilled it. Straightforward
so
knock on, I believe.
With another platform to attack here. We're just going to see. Yeah, he just point in the way of the York Knights. Was just having a chat.
Well, that's York's game, is that? You know, they look after the ball really well, which they didn't at the start of the game, but they've settled down now. And then they kick into the corner, and there's inevitably a good chase. And that good chase, it just put Nofaluma under intense pressure, and he's spilled the ball. Well, they've been up here twice, Lewis, and they've scored twice. So is it 3 out of 3?
So Hingano feeds the scrum and then immediately peels to the left-hand side as they look for that mismatch. It's a short ball this time to Field, who's over the line, but I don't think he's got that down. And the referee, Tom Grant, agrees. So York will go back 10, but maybe it was that ball over the top that he should have looked for again.
Yeah. But great work, Charlie Graham there, holding him up. That doesn't Bailey Antrobus carry the ball with some venom.
So McShane out to the right to Hingano. Hingano to Harris. Now they look for the numbers on the right-hand side, and Jones Bishop has a little bit of space, but Halifax defence does well to just scramble across and shut that down. It's a quick play, the ball though, so not much time for a breather for the Panthers defenders on their own goal line. Strong carry up the middle from Bailey. All the shape is on the left, but it's the short side that they come to, out to the right, and now it's an interception and Halifax are away. Streaking away, has he got the legs? He has, he's going to score under the posts. I think it's Tibbs who's gone the distance. Alfie Johnson, in fact, who's picked that one out of the sky and gone full length of the field, more or less. And the game takes another twist, John.
Well, it's tremendous, isn't it? What entertainment we're getting here tonight at this qualifying semi-final in this playoffs. I mean, York, third time in the Halifax 20, starting a set. We're looking for them to come up with the tries, but just as happened, it's turned the game previously when Jones Bishop went the full length. It's come up there as Alfie Johnson with a crucial intercept, and not only the intercept to save the try, but it's turned it on its head, and he's had enough pace to comfortably get down the full length of the field and over it goes. So we've had 2 breakaway tries already, one for York and one for Halifax there for Alfie Johnson, and that really will energise the Panthers, especially should George Whitby make the 4 into 6.
You'd suggest that he will as well. And he was note perfect with the boot last week. Whitby has given himself a little bit of distance here just to straighten the angle up a bit. He'll kick this from around the 20-metre line, just a few yards to the left-hand side of the sticks. Every point will matter, you feel, for Halifax this evening if they are to cause the upset, but George Whitby is very, very good with the boot, and he does it again. So we're back to a 4-point ball game. And Alfie Johnson, well,
I think
talking
on the
about how
back
to defend a man down, that's probably how to do it.
They did. Both sides of Halifax, their defensive system, they come up and they tried to kill the play, and that's exactly what happened there, where Alfie Johnson was high in front of the ball, and he came up with the ball, which allowed him to go that full 90 metres. And I think that score is a better reflection of how the game's gone, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's broken things wide open, because York were getting themselves well on top in this game, but it is now all to play for again as a huge shot goes in.
A good carry from Douglas as well.
Oh, it feels like a semi-final, doesn't it, John?
This is a semi-final. I can tell you, telling the intent in the collisions, it's tremendous.
So Halifax with wind in their sails now, ball in hand, still a player down for a few more minutes, but they'll feel a lot more comfortable about their situation following that try by Alfie Johnson on loan from the Warrington Wolves.
Well, since Ben Crooks has been off, Lewis, it's 6-4 to Halifax, so they'll be delighted.
Spiral on that from Whitby, and it bounces back to Dufresne, who puts boot to it, can't stay on his feet, and
offside.
Back for a penalty.
Yep. Well in front of Whitby there. A pretty easy decision for the semi-final referee, Tom Grant. But my word, it was a wicked, wicked kick, wasn't it? And
hypnotic, John. I nearly forgot to commentate watching the spin on that ball.
Well, what it was, it wasn't a deep kick. It really found that hole behind the defensive line and in front of the fullback. But it was just spoiled by a bit of ill discipline from Jouffre being in front of the kicker, and that nullified the quality of that kick.
So with the penalty, the pendulum swings again, and it is York who are now up to the Halifax 30-metre mark. As huge shot goes in, and Antrim and he spills. So Halifax back in possession. Jouffre plays the ball, and Nofaluma comes in from full-back to make a carry up to halfway. You cannot take a breath in this game.
I'll tell you, York have made a number of errors, Lewis, much more than you would normally expect this team. They're normally very good with their completion rates.
So Halifax now up to the York 30-metre mark we go. Sniffing more points, the Panthers. Whitby up to the line, good ball from him. Another huge contact goes in.
What a great tackle. It was Jesse D, wasn't it?
Yeah, he didn't miss. Halifax still with one tackle to try and get something out of this set. Look for Whitby, that's the way it goes. Stabs one of those grubber kicks across. Nofaluma's got it in hand. And we're just going to take the turnover, a slightly messy end to that set, uncharacteristically so from a Halifax perspective, but they do have York buried deep inside their own half.
Oh, Douglas, I think, came out of the line there, hunting. Really did. But I've been a little disappointed in Halifax end of sets. Jouffre's one led to the try, and that was an indifferent one as well from George Whitby. They just need to be a little more inventive and make it a challenge the end of the set in good ball.
So two good yardage carries, first from Matt Arthur and then Jones Bishop, getting York out of the shadow of their own posts, and now they'll look to apply a little bit of width. Here's Phil, can he find a gap? Crooks is back onto the field for Halifax, so we're back to 13 versus 13. Oh, Ngannou with a ball around the shoelaces for Martin to pick up. He does well in the end, the York prop, just to keep hold of possession. Here's Harris.
And there's
the another
recipe.
High one up.
There's the recipe, Lewis. High kick into the corner, good chase.
And here's Nofaluma. Can he find some space? Yes, he can. Gets an offload away. That ball's gone to ground. Waved away by Tom Grant, so we continue on. And in fact, we're now going to come back for a penalty, and I wonder, just after the speed of the game, if York will look to settle things down by taking the two.
Well, I certainly would. It doesn't matter whether you win by 1 or 101. The end result is you get to the grand final. But that's pretty loose play there from David Nofaluma. And he fielded
he
the
did
ball
really well to begin with, and then just overplayed, didn't he?
He got his nose through the line and he was looking dangerous, but it's just overplaying. And that looseness has just allowed York to get that penalty for offside. And then they will now attempt to convert the penalty into 2 points. And he's got to do that, Lewis, because he's 20 metres out, straight in front of the posts. And it will make it a full score, 6 points difference between the two teams.
And maybe just an opportunity from a York perspective to try and calm things down a little bit.
From both teams, I think, Lewis. It's been hare 'em, scare 'em.
So Liam Harris from 20 yards out, directly in front of the sticks. And a routine effort for the York halfback. So they move into a 12 points to 6 lead, and well, it hasn't settled this game, has it? We've not had an arm wrestle, we've not had a set for set phase. It's been breakaway, errors, penalties, it's been a bit of everything.
It has. It's certainly not the game I expected prior to kick-off. I thought it would be very much initially a grind and arm wrestle, but it's been very open, and that's been because of the errors and the penalties, as you've rightly pointed out.
So again, the kick-off is towards York's right edge, and it is again Martin who starts his carry on the back fence, but met well by the kick chase from the Halifax Panthers. York in possession, and I think they'll want to use this set to just get through their tackles, work their way upfield and get a little bit of control in this game.
Yeah, you would expect them to be a little more conservative, wouldn't you? And that's exactly what they've done. There's 4 one-up carries there, and they're pretty good carries as well, because it's cleared the 40 metres, and here comes a kick.
There is the kick. It splits Tibbs and Nofaluma, but Tibbs will just go back and sweep up. Brendan Santi into the action in place of Bailey Antrobus for York, the Italian international. And now Charlie Graham looks to help out off his wing, but doesn't make a huge amount of progress there. Stopped on the 30. Santi and Martin combining in the tackle there for York.
Some good line speed as well, Lewis, there.
Now Fax will look for some space down the short side, but stopped 5 metres away from the halfway line. Halifax up over halfway, and the penalty right at the end of the set, and that is a coach killer.
Absolutely. That would have, when that was completed, that would have been tackle 5. The kick would have been coming, and instead it's given George Whitby the opportunity to pump the ball deep inside the York half. So they're setting this set off 20 metres off the York City Knights line.
And the Panthers fans behind the sticks looking to urge their team on as Crooks takes the first carry, maybe looking to make up for that early sin bin. And there's numbers on this left-hand side if Halifax look for them. Could be through here. The scramble defence is good in the end from York, but Halifax knocking on the door. Plenty of tackles hand. They come short side. Ball's all over the place. It's in the hands of Brendan Santi, and yet again Halifax guilty of overplaying with the ball.
It'll be the first knock-on, I think. But it's unbelievable, isn't it? A semi-final with as many errors as this, and as loose as this, and unstructured as this. Because, the ball's bobbling about everywhere.
Oh, it's going to be Halifax ball.
Oh. Well,
referee has pointed in the direction of the Panthers, so they will get another set.
Well, you cannot, in any game of rugby league, you cannot keep inviting the opposition to start sets 10, 20 metres from your own line. At some stage, you're going to break.
So 4 players to the right of the scrum for Halifax, and that's the way they come. And Whitby will look to try and just dance through the defence himself. Eventually brought down 7 or 8 metres away from the try line. O'Brien at hooker with a short ball to Will Calcott, who's into the action for the first time this evening. O'Brien again. Halifax just taking the direct route for the time being. A metre away from the York line. O'Brien comes short side. Here's Whitby. Big ball over the top from Whitby. Tibbs has to do some work just to keep hold of possession and unable to bring that down, but it's going to be a penalty for a high shot.
Yeah, it wasn't the best pass, was it, from Whitby, and it allowed the right winger there for York, Ben Jones-Bishop, to cover that, but as Tibbs was attempted to prop off his left foot and come inside, he's just cocked an arm around the head, so consequently a high tackle, and Jacob Fairbank there carrying the ball to the York line.
So Halifax with another set to try and break down this York line in front of their own travelling fans, a metre away. Shape is all the way to the right, that's the way they come. Whitby, Nofaluma, he steps back inside himself and eventually wrapped up by Jesse D. O'Brien, Calcott, Whitby trying to get on the outside shoulder, he's dragged down. All fairly, says the referee, so still Halifax continue. He's Jouffret, jinking away, puts a kick in, and it's dealt with in the end by York, and a sigh of relief around the LNER stadium. Or is it?
No, he's given a penalty, I believe, to Halifax. Well, there's the kick from Jouffret. And has he deemed obstruction?
I'm not sure if he's given it for a late contact on.
Yeah, on the kicker.
On the kicker, on Jouffret from Harris. We'll see it again.
Yep. Good spot that, Lewis. Good spot.
So Halifax again with a full set on the York line. York have done a pretty good job so far of keeping them out, but the pressure continues to mount. Calcott goes up the middle.
That's a good carry. Great leg drive after contact.
Forced around facing the wrong way, so it's not the quickest play the ball in the world, but Whitby to Owen McCarron. That ball's been lost, and this time it is a Halifax error.
Well, that's what you get when you've got a big body playing in the stand-off half position. That's a Hingano there. He really got up, and it was great right shoulder contact, and that's what's forced the error there.
He's a real
on McCarron. Yeah, he's
physical halfback, isn't he?
Hingano. He's a big man.
About in defence.
Yep, a big man. He's not one of these structured halfbacks that's looking to pass the ball. His first thing is, I'll run, and if you're going to run at him when he's defending, he's going to whack you.
Former Tongan international after Hingano. Played for Salford and Lee before finding a home here in York, and he's been a big part of the success of this team over the last 8 or 9 months. And York now with the job of just getting themselves out of a little bit of a hole. It feels like a while since we've had a full set without a penalty or an error.
Well, York's been their own worst enemies, haven't they, Lewis? They've been inviting Halifax onto their line, but it's a good job that they've been defending so well on their line. But ultimately, it uses a lot of energy, does that?
Half an hour has absolutely flown by here as York do move up into Halifax territory. This is the last, so I expect that they'll look to just bury the Panthers deep inside their own half. Liam Harris has put that ball into space. It comes down a long way.
Tremendous
done
take.
Very well to deal with it.
Yeah, it's Ben Tibbs, wasn't it? That was a tremendous take under some pressure there. And a good tackle from Santi.
Yeah, he's thrown himself around, hasn't he, since coming off the bench. He's Nofaluma from fullback. Cops a couple of tackles, and then on this occasion the offload does work, so Jouffret will bring Halifax up to the 30. Here's Whitby. 40-20 attempt. It's a good effort. It doesn't quite get the angle. It was bang on line, but it takes a tricky bounce, and in the end it's gone out for a 20-metre tap.
You've called it a tricky bounce. Is exactly. If that would have bounced end over end, it was a 40-20, but it was like a leg spinner, wasn't it? It just kicked to the left-hand side, and that took it over the in-goal area. What a good carry that was from Galliano to start the set.
And then followed up by Holyfield up towards halfway. So the York outside backs helping out the forwards, and now it's Ben Jones-Bishop off his wing up over the halfway line. McShane to Thompson, and now they look to bring us out to the left-hand side. Here's Field again, trying to drag in a couple of defenders. Crooks on hand to eventually make the tackle. Still a few tackles available for the Knights as Hingano brings us from one edge to the other. Harris takes that one off of his ankles, and York are in. It's Kieran Buchanan who scores. They took the play out to the left edge, dragged the numbers across, and then found the space on the right-hand side. And after a period of being under their own sticks again, York find points.
Well, that was a thing of beauty, Lewis. Absolutely a thing of beauty there that ended up with right centre Kieran Buchanan crossing. There's some lovely handling right from the left-hand side. Matafa, then Hingano, and this is where you get the advantage of Paul McShane, who can play 9 or 7 as an extra pivot. It allowed Harris then to go right to the line, and a lovely short pass there to Kieran Buchanan allows him to cross. A sweeping move, the full width of the pitch. What a good try that was there from the York City Knights.
Well, coaches and analysts who worry about errors and penalties and completion rates will be tearing their hair out watching this. Rugby league fans like me are absolutely loving it, I'm sure.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? It really is.
This is really well worked.
It's that pass there from Harris, an absolute peach, and he just loses his hips as the defender, and that allows Buchanan to prop off his right foot and cross gratefully about 10-15 metres in from the sideline. Big kick this though from Harris. 10 points the difference at the minute. This would nail it to 12.
So Liam Harris looking to add 2 more points to the tally. As we've mentioned, York unbeaten since April.
I think he's looking to draw breath as well, Lewis, as I am. It's been a breathless 34 minutes, hasn't it? Sensational rugby league.
Well, 35 minutes into this game, I feel like we kicked off about 2 minutes ago. It is absolutely shot by here in the Betfred Championship. Great day rugby league as well, isn't it? If you're on the armchair, you're sorted all the way through till about 10 o'clock tonight with the Betfred Super League eliminators following us here. Harris has struck that well, but it's not on target, so it will stay at 10 points.
He'll be pretty disappointed. Liam Harris is normally pretty deadly with the kicks, but here's the try once again, and it's you know, I could watch this time after time after time because the execution is superb. The skill in the pass, it's in front of the player all the time, and it allows all the players to be moving at the same time. A great try, that one.
Leon Cohen and Brad Graham onto the field for Halifax. Connor Davies.
Yeah, there's a problem here.
Brandon Douglas off, but this does not look good.
No. Yeah, referee Tom Grant really was good there.
Give him space, lads, won't you?
I think it's Leon Cowan who's just come onto the field of play. He just gets his head in the wrong space, doesn't he? And
well, one thing you know about Brendan Santee, he's going to carry the ball at 100 miles an hour, and he just hasn't got the technique correct there, hasn't Leon Cowan? And the medic straight on.
No, I'm not sure Brendan Santee is a particularly pleasant player to run into at the best of times, but hopefully just precautional as Cohen stays down. See it again, yeah, just gets his head in the wrong spot.
He'll have to go for a head injury assessment. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, the physios rightfully taking their time with him.
And rightly so. Rightly so, Lewis, because it's so important to make sure that the players are A-OK.
Well, he's up on his haunches now, which is a positive sign at least, but as you said, John, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't.
He'll have to go
sit down for at least 10 minutes for a head injury assessment.
But that was good refereeing, you know. That was good refereeing. Spotted it straight away. I mean, Santi, obviously, as is his job, is to carry aggressively and play the ball quickly, and that's what he's looking to do, but the referee just blew the whistle. He knew straight away that Liam Cowan was in a bit of bother, and straight away the physios, the doctors are out there just to make sure the fella's good.
Well, Tom Grant's had plenty of games in the Betfred Super League this season. I'm not sure he'll have had many 40 minutes or, well, 36 minutes as busy as this one all season. The ball's been pinballing around all over the place as Leon Cohen very gingerly gets back up to his feet. Obviously tricky for us to assess from up here, John, but on the evidence of what we can see, I would be surprised if we see Leon Cohen again. Hopefully all is okay. Good to see that he's up on his feet and walking off the field at the very least. They've
got to do the protocols, Lewis, and you know, that's in the laws from the governing body, so have to make sure he's okay should he be able to return.
Meanwhile, everyone else has been able to take a little bit of a breather, and York with ball in hand. Half-time on the horizon as Jesse D cuts inside and just crabs along the defensive line, eventually wrapped up by 3 Halifax defenders. I think the message for York in that brief pause in play will have been to just control the final minutes of this half. I don't think we'll see them overplay too much, but there's an error at the play the ball. That is the opposite of controlling the game. Halifax let back in again.
It's most unplayoff-like, isn't it, this? You know, with, as you've rightly indicated before, the number of errors, and there's been lots of errors from York in their own end, and yardage errors, bringing the ball from their own end. And it just invites pressure on them.
The ball from Thompson, he just doesn't get his foot over it properly, and with a few minutes left in this half, Halifax with another opportunity to reduce the deficit.
But the defensive resolve's been tremendous from York, hasn't it?
Well, until this game, they had only conceded 299 points across the 27-game Betfred Championship season. The lowest in the league by some margin, so defensively Mark Applegarth has got his team absolutely spot on this season as Whitby steps inside. Can he find a way through? Paul McShane again there to cut him down. He's almost man-marked, George Whitby. Oh, and then Giuffre comes up with the error. And again, Halifax left wanting when there could be points on offer.
They just aren't taking advantage of the opportunities that's been presented to them, Halifax, and it's a pretty straightforward drop there, but it was an indifferent pass from dummy half from O'Brien, well above Giuffre's head, so he's reaching for the ball, couldn't reel it in, and consequently now York start attempting to clear their own end without making an error.
So York with ball in hand up towards the 20. I think the Knights will just want to get into the sheds here with this 10-point lead intact. That clock on your screen, just the guide. We are not hooked up to the referee's watch. The in-stadium clock suggests that there's still 5 minutes or so left in this game. I think it might be slightly less than that, but we'll leave it to Tom Grant to do the timekeeping. Out they come to Hingano on kicking duty on this occasion. That's another high one, and it's wobbling about all over the place, but David Nofalama underneath it, and again he looks for that offload. It's not always worked this evening, but he gets away with it on this occasion. No real benefit from it.
But Nofalama as well, he's a big man, isn't he, at fullback? And yes, the chasing hard at York, and they're trying to be physical with him, but he's so strong that he's able to stand and offload.
Move, pull back.
So Halifax with the ball in hand inside their own half, inside their own 40, and York's back free. Dropped right back after that warning shot from George Whitby, nearly pulling off the 40-20.
But look at the defences again from Ata Hingano.
And it is Galliano dropped back to take the kick, takes it on the full, and will look to carry it himself.
Forward pass.
Field, but it's a forward pass, and
soft error once again. I mean, I can tell you what's going to be part of Mark Applegarth's team talk at half-time, and that'll be to make sure that they cut out these yardage errors, because it really is just causing... And it's a straightforward pass.
Well, Ollie Field, he stood 2 metres in front of him when he called for that ball.
So 1, Mr. Field, don't call for the ball, and 2...
don't give the pass.
Yeah, Mr. Galliano, don't give the pass.
I mean, in a way, for both teams, it's probably quite a simple team talk at the break.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
So it is a Halifax Panthers scrum, yet again in decent field position, and it is cannoned out the back of the scrum. I've not really seen that before.
No,
that was,
it was kicked out of the scrum. Yeah.
So here's David Nofaluma from fullback. He's up over the 40.
I think that typifies the game. Yeah, it typifies the game, yeah.
Here at the LNER Stadium. It is the league leaders, winners York, who have a 10-point advantage, but well, earlier in the game I said that felt like a big mountain. It feels like a pretty thin one at the moment, and I thought Halifax were in there, but the ball's gone into touch, and again York survive.
Well,
again they find themselves on the ropes.
But you've got to credit this online defence. It's been tremendous, because they really have. We've had a lot of viewing down to our right-hand side, and again it's that defence that's coming up, it's taking space, it's cutting time down, and that questions the skill, and obviously it wasn't up to form there. And over the sideline the ball went, and we're now in overtime or whatever, but they're going to make sure it's the 40 as indicated from the referee. And the challenge for York is to get to the end of this set without making an error.
It's a field up to the 30. It's been a very uncharacteristic first half performance from York. Despite the lead, it's lacked a lot of the control and dominance that we've seen them display plenty of times throughout the season. Jordan Thompson carries up the middle and then looks for an offload, and well, York recycle and get on the front foot, but it's little things like that you just feel Mark Applegarth might be saying is all a bit unnecessary. As Toa Mataafa comes in from fullback. This is the last, so Harris will kick. I'm sure he'll just look to try and bury it. In fact, he won't kick. They'll go for it. And now the kick comes, and it's straight into the hands of Tibbs.
Well, that end of sets is typical of the game, isn't it? We'll run it on the last, they run it, then the centre kicks the ball, and he kicks it straight into the hand of the Halifax player.
Nofaluma looks like he's playing prop at the moment for Halifax, where he keeps popping up to carry the ball. Here's Whitby. He'll look to step one way and then the other, and he's eventually dragged down. And there is the hooter, which brings one of the most frantic, unpredictable, borderline bizarre 40 minutes of rugby league I think I've seen all season, Jock here.
Yeah, it was surreal, wasn't it? Absolutely. When you think it's a semi-final, you normally would think in semi-finals you come out, you complete your sets, you kick long, you defend tough, and the game then unfolds as a set-for-set game. But this has just been errors, penalties. We'll give you field position, but we'll defend our own line really well. And it's been entertaining, but surreal.
Well, the only stat that matters is that York leads 16 points to 6 at the break. But in a game like this, that lead feels paper thin, because it is swinging from one way and then the other. And Halifax will go into the sheds feeling that they are banging this.
And as you rightly point out, it's a simple team talk for both coaches.
So tries from Jones, Bishop and Galliano push York out to a 10-0 lead. Alfie Johnson's length of the field, breakaway, reducing the deficit before Kieran Buchanan finished off a beautifully worked York try in the corner. 2 goals from Liam Harris, 1 from George Whitby, gives us the 16-6 scoreline at the break. And we can just refresh our memories of how that unfolded. This is the kick from Jouffre, and Ben Jones-Bishop, after a lovely inside flick pass from Matt Arthur, just pure speed.
Yeah, the first breakaway try, wasn't it? And it was after a period of Halifax pressure. But what a tremendous piece of wing play there. He cleared Charlie Graham, and then once he'd done that, he went round the back of the post to make it the 6 points. This was the sin binning then from Crooks. A lovely little break down the right, and it was Joan Bishop who put that kick in. Bailey's chasing it. Crooks infringes, and for his efforts, it's 10 minutes sat down on the sideline. And the very next set, they come up with this sensational piece of play there with a rainbow pass from Hingano that allowed Galliano to cross comfortably down the left-hand side. So punished for that sin binning immediately by the York City Knights. And then this is the Halifax breakaway try. They're looking to score once again down that right-hand side. But it's Alfie Johnson. He gets up high in defence, into the York attacking line, comes up with the intercept, races fully 90 metres for their first points of the game, which was then converted. And then we go with this last try, this thing of beauty, absolutely a shift right away from left touchline to right touchline, with Buchanan crossing, and it really is top quality handling there. First of all from the 6, then McShane at 9, before Harris just pops up that little sweet short pass to Buchanan for a tremendous try. And that's the points and the talking points from the first half. And what a strange, surreal half it's been, Lewis.
Well, 16 points to 6 at the break in favour of the York Knights in this Betfred Championship semi-final. 40 minutes of haymakers and chaos here in York. Stay with us. I know you will. We are 40 minutes away from finding out our first Betfred Championship grand finalist.
The 30th Betfred Super League Dream Team was announced on Sunday, with 7 clubs represented. Unsurprisingly, Betfred Challenge Cup and League Leader Shield winners Hull KR were best represented, with 4 players: Dean Hadley, Petter Hiku, Jez Litton and reigning Man of Steel Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic year for us. Obviously picking that Challenge Cup up, winning our first major trophy in over 40 years, and then obviously picking up the league leaders as well. It's gone very fast this year, but it's been a fantastic year for everybody who's involved in this club.
There was reason for celebration on the other side of the city as well, with Herman SASA joining top try scorer Lewis Martin from Hull FC.
You know, probably at the start of the year, I probably didn't think I was going to play round 1, and you know, to be sat here in Dream Team now, top try scorer in Super League, it's crazy. You know, it's overwhelming, but yeah, buzzing to be here, and yeah, really good season.
Mike McMeekan made his return to the Dream Team for Wakefield Trinity, while St Helens were represented by Morgan Knowles.
Leeds Rhinos have Jake Connor and James McDonnell in the side, whilst Amila Hanley makes his Dream Team debut after a stellar season for the Lee Leopards. The reigning champions Wigan have 2 representatives, Jay Field and Liam Marshall. More individual honours, including the Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award, will be handed out in a few weeks' time. But until then, it's all eyes on the playoffs.
floodlights on under moody skies here in York. We have had 40 minutes of Betfred Championship semi-final action. We've warmed everyone up inside this ground. Absolute chaos in the first stanza. It is the York Knights who take a 16-6 lead into the break. They are 40 minutes away from a grand final appearance, which would of course be an opportunity for them to complete the championship grand slam, the treble. Already wrapped up the 1895 trophy at Wembley, of course, and lifted the league leaders shield here a few weeks ago. But they've still got quite a lot of work to do this evening if they are going to get the opportunity to complete the set. Halifax Panthers have not made life easy for the home team. And a 10-point lead that could fall away pretty quickly if Halifax can take advantage of a few of the chances that they have been gifted on the York line. This is, of course, just part one of a brilliant rugby league doubleheader. The Betfred Super League eliminators continue this evening, and this is how things got underway in terms of points here at the LNER Stadium. Halifax had been on top, but Ben Jones-Bishop shown clear field, able to just race away and open the scoring. And this, the real flashpoint, the yellow card. But actually, John Keir, when you look at it, Ben Crooks didn't really complain. I think he knew. No, he knew. And the referee couldn't give a penalty try. He wasn't sure it could be grounded, but certainly a yellow card. And then from that, in the very next set, take full advantage there, going down the short side after McShane. It deceived everybody by indicators going big side. And Galliano once again, grounds wide out, and then we've got this interception try there from Halifax, which Alfie Johnson, so high in defence, into the York line that were playing the ball, and through he came with an 80-metre try, which really did bring Halifax into the game. But then we have got this thing of beauty, this left to right shift with three pivots being instrumental there, and a lovely little soft pass and a great right foot step from Buchanan, which completed the scoring. But really is a tremendous try as this one, and all the key players, your 1, 6, 7, 9, all involved in that before Buchanan crosses down the right hand side. Just an update at the break. Probably unsurprisingly, Leon Cohen has failed his head injury assessment, so we won't see any more of him this afternoon. Really his first involvement in the game, so a real shame for Leon Cohen. I don't think it surprised anybody, Lewis, in all honesty. I mean, and the referee was tremendous at that point. Stopped the game straight away. The physios and the doctors were out there and ensured that he received the appropriate medical assistance. And then obviously he's failed it, and so it was a very brief appearance, and his night is now over for Liam Cowan. At risk of spouting a bit of a sporting cliche, John, the first 10 minutes of this second half feel really, really important, because if York can establish some level of control and start winning the arm wrestle like we'd expect them to, then it's a simple enough equation with the 10-point lead. But if that second half starts in the same vein of the first, they're never going to feel out of the game, Halifax. No, and as we've indicated during commentary, the number of errors that York have made in yardage coming out from their own end has been phenomenal. But Halifax, I feel, they could be more patient and build a little bit of pressure and make sure that their end of sets are looking for things like a repeat set, a dropout or something like that, rather than trying to rush it and try and score. So I think both coaches will have indicated, Mark Applegarth for York, complete your sets, make sure you cut down the yardage errors, and the Halifax coach, Kyle Eastman, it will be build pressure, don't look to score every play, just build pressure through your set, and eventually the dam will break. So the teams are back out. Halifax followed by the home team, the York Knights. 40 minutes to settle who will be going through to the Betfred Championship Grand Final next weekend. It will, of course, be played at the home ground of the highest ranked team, so if York get the job done, we know it will be back at the LNER Stadium, and of course Toulouse and Bradford in action in the south of France tomorrow in the other semi-final. Liam Harris has the ball on the tee. The words of both head coaches ringing in the ears of the players. Will we see a different pattern, or will we have 40 more minutes of chaos? Here we go. Huge half of rugby league on the way, and a huge contact straight away. McCarron.
I'll tell you, Brendan Santee really has made an impression, hasn't he? And the physicality in this yardage defence from York is immense.
Well, he made a big impression when he first came over, as he goes hunting again, Brendan Santee, when he first joined the Keighley Cougars, and it was one of Andrew Henderson's first pieces of business when he came over to York to bring the Italian international prop forward with him, and he's made a real impact off the bench this evening. So here's Nofaluma looking to try and get in between Jordan Thompson and Connor Bailey.
Often takes the last play to get him on the front foot, and there's Whitby's end of set.
Galliano underneath it. He had a pretty good first half, I thought, scoring, of course, other than that forward pass out of kick return. But I think you'll be stretched to find a player on that field that didn't do something slightly crazy in that half. So here's Ben Jones-Bishop, who is the ever reliable presence at the back for York, the Jamaica international. Now they come out to the left-hand side. York just working their way upfield. Matt Arthur in from full-back over the 40. This is the last, so maybe an opportunity to just try and pin Halifax in and turn the screw in terms of territory. That kick's going to come down with snow on it. Nofaluma was safe as houses this time.
Well, Lewis,
on the 10.
The first two sets have been normal rugby league. That's been what we thought.
John.
Halifax have completed a set. York have completed a set.
Not used to this. So Halifax now with ball in hand on the 20. Just working their way upfield. I just wonder if Kyle Eastwood as well would have talked about calming the game down a little bit and finding the arm wrestle. I know the York errors have been of the benefit to Halifax, but 10 points, they can work their way back into it bit by bit. They don't have to win it all at once.
No.
Here's Jouffre, chipped kick over the top. That's Arthur does well to just bring it in cleanly.
Again, that's a little unstructured, wasn't it? That little, it was just like a dab throw, really. And no real plan after such a structured plan last week they had against Oldham with the kicking game. Tonight's been a bit unstructured, shall we say.
Well, it was surgical precision at Boundary Park from Halifax last week. This is all a bit more caution to the wind tonight. But they are very much still in this contest and still in with a shout of reaching what would be an unlikely berth in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. They weren't particularly fancied at the beginning of the year with a smaller squad than most. Carl Eastman has done well. That ball has gone to ground, and there's the first error of the second half. There you go, John. We're back to type.
We're back to chaos.
And Nofaluma, who has been at first receiver a lot tonight, and here he goes up the middle. Still going, David Nofaluma. Can he find space to go the distance? Eventually he's dragged down. No, he's not. Still going. Ball's gone to ground.
And he's made the error. Was it knocked out though? What's the referee going to look at here? Once again, York error. Halifax looks if they'll capitalise, but a great run there from Nofaluma. Regains his feet as he's allowed to do there.
Well, it is knocked out,
but it was just affecting the tackle.
Yeah, certainly.
I think the referee will just give it York head and fade because it was just affecting the tackle.
Tom Grant.
Yeah.
But that was early on again in a set. And I don't think on this occasion Nofaluma could be accused of overplaying there.
No.
It wasn't. one of the offloads that he's attempted a couple of times. He's such an exciting player, isn't he? Every time he gets ball in hand, you feel like something is going to happen, and nearly created something out of not very much there.
But here's the error, and it's Kieran Hudson, isn't it? And it's just lost the ball in contact, and then from that error came the break from Nofaluma. The very next play, and through he goes. You're thinking, aye, are we on for a score here? But a great recovery there from Toa Matahafa, and forces the error there to recover some semblance of normality.
The ball is in the scrum. It was in the scrum for a long time there, and Toa Matahafa in from full-back, signed from FC Lezion, a product of the North Sydney Bears. And up over the 40-metre mark, 30-metre mark. Oh, and we're going to come back for the play the ball again. So Tom Grant just trying to settle this game down a little bit as Jordan Thompson carries up towards the 40. Paul McShane, ever present in this game so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do the full 80. He certainly has it in his locker in terms of fitness, as Mitch Clark onto the field now, bounces off a few tackles.
Santi, he's played well, you know. He really has. It just adds energy, doesn't it, Lewis?
He's eager,
to
isn't
the
he?
team,
He's always
yes.
looking to get involved with the carry as McShane comes out to the left-hand side. Hingano on kicking duties on this occasion. Again, it goes high, and it's going to come down, but well taken by Charlie Graham, who plays the ball on the 20-metre mark, and then it's Ben Crooks, the next cab off the rank, to try and get Halifax out of their own real estate. Nofaluma again at first receiver, steps through and goes through, and eventually dragged down, but
well, they just
Jesse D had a job to do there, because if Nofaluma had got through,
they need the ball in his hands more.
The
they need Nofaluma to handling this ball more, because he's a threat every time he carries it.
It's a short side. Come Halifax, Alfie Johnson, the sole try scorer in blue and white, up towards the 30. Out there comes Louis Jouffre, the French international. That ball goes high up into the air for Ben Jones-Bishop. He's drifted underneath it well, takes it in cleanly, but he's buried 5 metres away from his own line and in a corner. This is where Halifax will want to play the game without ball in hand. Big opportunity for them to try and pin York inside their own territory. Galliano, he has a crack, but again the line speed is good from Halifax to shut him down.
Some good line speed, as you've indicated, and it really has restricted the yards that York have made going forward.
Now York do find a little bit of space over the left-hand side. That's Hingano having a crack at the line. He's eventually wrapped up before he can get the pass away. This is the last, so it will be a kick from reasonably deep from Liam Harris.
And a decent kick there. He hooked the ball across his body, but it's Nofaluma.
Nofaluma throwing the ball out wide, and I'm not entirely sure that was on. I don't think Ben Tibbs was expecting it, but
I don't think they know what a conservative approach is to this game.
Well, it has been 47 minutes of Hail Mary Rugby League, pretty much from the first kick-off, which took a funny old bounce and ended up in an error. You never quite know what the next play is going to produce, but Halifax are back in to positive equity, up into the York half. O'Brien, the hooker, brings us out to the right-hand side. Whitby. This is the last, so the kick will come from just inside the 40-metre mark. It is Whitby again who puts it high for Matahafa to take in, which he does cleanly. He's got Jones-Bishop on his shoulder, but no harum-scarum passes on this occasion. Just does the simple thing, ramps it up the middle. We looked at the benches ahead of the game, John, and just felt that York had a a little bit more. That's even more so now that Leon Cohen has failed his HIA. But being able to bring Mitch Clark into the fray, formerly of Castleford, of course, Halkar and Wigan.
And they've also added that Sam Cook has been out there. So he'll had a bit of zip to that dummy half role, and McShane will be obviously playing the ball-playing 13 role.
There's so much versatility across that York line as McShane steps in at dummy half and then brings us out to Hingano, who dodges one tackle and then puts a kick that's high but not very far. York still have the ball, and Jesse T just puts a industrial boot to it. And Halifax will start this set just short of their own 20.
I'm going to try and explain the word orthodox to these two teams afterwards, because it's anything but, isn't it? It's unorthodox, but very, very entertaining.
Well, whichever team is in the grand final at the end of the night will look back on this on job done, but I'm sure both coaches have filled a notebook with notes and observations based on the first 50 minutes of rugby league here in York. But as you say, John, for us, it has been fantastic entertainment. So Nofaluma in at acting half to Whitby, who just changes the direction of play to Calcott, who takes on two York defenders up over halfway. This is the last, so the kick will come from Louis Jouffret, about 40 metres away from the York line, and that's spilt.
Yeah, it's knock on there.
Matahafa, so York again letting Halifax into this game.
He's got that in him, as Toa Matahafa. He really has. He's normally very, very safe, but there tends to be one a game that he just... I didn't think there, Lewis, he needed to take off. I thought he could have kept his feet on the ground and had a more orthodox catch. But he climbed into the air and he spilled the ball. So once again, it's a yardage header that's allowing this Halifax Panthers side to have a good look at the opposition line. And I'm pretty certain they'll try to build pressure now rather than trying to score on every play.
So yet another scrum within striking distance of the York line, and there's still half an hour at least in this game to play, but you do feel at some point Halifax are going to have to make one of these count.
Yeah, there's plenty of time though, Lewis. There really is plenty of time, and it's wide open. Because it's so unorthodox and chaotic, you just feel as if anything can happen.
Well, this has been a scoring position for the defending teams on two occasions.
It certainly has.
This evening, John.
I think we've got Ben Tibbs, isn't he, who's just receiving a bit of attention there.
A little bit of Vaseline, perhaps, maybe a cut just to the side of Ben Tibbs' head.
And it's interesting to see that Halifax have stacked 4 men one side of the scrum and 2 men this side, which is Tibbs' side. And the York defensive line is 3-3 split, so they've got 4 on 3 to the right. Halifax, will they go for it?
Well, on the evidence of today's game, they'll come short side probably, John. Scrum is dead centre. Jouffret feeds it, and they do go out to the right hand side, but the numbers are, and Whitby puts that on the shoelaces of Crooks, who does well, and then shrugs off Jordan Thompson. Eventually is brought down. Crooks, that ball's come out. There's your obligatory error, and it will be York with the ball back on their own 10
Well, that's the summary of the game. York make a yardage error. Halifax then make an error with their anxiety within the York 20-metre zone. And it's a really simple error there from Crooks. Really is. He's trying to bring the ball back into play with an orthodox play of the ball, and he just spills it.
So York with the ball in hand, 10 metres away from their own line, and they'll look to just work their way out from deep inside their own half as Liam Harris drifts into acting half. Just comes short ball left to Ollie Field, who's met well. Line speed from both teams has been turned up all night. What a carry that is from Jordan Thompson. He knows he's in a dogfight, just going to do the simple stuff. He experienced loose forward and Here comes Mitch Clark.
Yeah, he just knows one way, doesn't he? The direct way.
He'll play the ball just short of halfway. McShane jumps on his bike and then gives it out to Hingano. Jesse D cuts back inside and he makes decent progress. So not a bad set that from a York perspective. Started on the road 10 metre mark. The kick from McShane will come from the Halifax 30. It's another high one and brought in by Galliano. He was taken out in the air. It will be a penalty.
Well, it was a great kick, wasn't it, from McShane? Out of dummy half. That left foot that's been so reliable for so many years in Super League.
Well, he caught everyone out by surprise, I think, here, Galliano.
But that's a great catch there. But he is taken out in the air. So it's.
I just wonder how much David Nofaluma could see there. I wonder if Charlie Graham, looking to try and shepherd through, had blocked his view a bit and maybe just caught the Halifax fullback unaware slightly. But it is a penalty to York.
Well, there was that, but also he's got to be aware as well of the on-rushing player, and Galliano had ball in hand. You know, he had climbed well into the air, but he had ball in hand.
So York get us back underway. Mitch Clark carries up the middle. All the shape is to the right hand side, so they come to the skinny side, of course, and Ngannou will try and step through the line. Just drag a few defenders in with him. 3 Halifax defenders in there. This time they do come to the big side, and Harris has the ball up to the line. Just a short drop off to Connor Bailey, who stopped a couple of metres away. York first real look at the Halifax try line in this half. Now they'll come out to the left. That ball's got to ground, and Graham sweeps up for Halifax. Tom Grant waves it on. So
yes, again, this time it was York with the ball to build some pressure, and they failed to do that. What a carry from Crooks.
Yeah, Crooks, another player that you know what you're going to get. One of those real hard working, honest outside backs. Facts are up towards Shane. Absolutely flies in.
Yeah, he spotted Connor Davis there.
Just get the feeling he's enjoying this.
Yeah, he came from C defender and absolutely walloped him.
Nofaluma again steps out of a few tackles. He's been a real bright spark, especially in this second half. Still going, David Nofaluma. Still going.
Still
and gets
going.
Himself away. How's he got himself free there? Eventually he is brought down. How on earth David Nofaluma managed to get himself out of that straitjacket, I don't know, but Halifax are on the front foot. There's the offload, ball goes to the ground, but Jouffre cleans up space on this left hand side. If they can get it through the hands, it's played at, so back to 0. Brad Graham will settle it down 15 metres away from the York line. Now they'll come down the short side. This is Inman off the bench. Tom Inman. Graham at acting half. Out to Whitby. Whitby just drops it off to Will Calcott. He's stopped 9 metres away from the York line. Halifax building pressure, but they've been here a few times this evening without coming away with any points. The Hawks' goal line defence has been on it so far. Inman with options on both sides. Comes out to Calcott. This is Whitby. Nofaluma. Could be numbers here if Crooks can engineer some space. Good goal line defence. Again from the York Knights. Full width of the field to use for Halifax. Calcott again will just straighten up in the middle. This is the last. Look for George Whitby. Inman, in fact, will put the kick in. That's taken a bounce. I'm not sure if it was a leg or a hand.
I think it's a knock-on from the York City Knights there. It was Inman, wasn't he, who's now operated from dummy half. And he's really added a bit of zip there. But this man is unbelievable. He's strong as an ox, is Nofaluma.
Carrying him on his back.
Yeah, well, there's 3 men there, and all of a sudden, there's no men there. And off he goes once again.
It will be Halifax ball at the scrum. 10 metres away. I've lost count of the amount of times the Panthers have been in this situation this evening, trailing by 10 points with 56 minutes played here, live and exclusive on the Sportsman. Can they finally make one of these attacking scrums play? Here's Jouffre, can he dance his way through? Nearly finds a little bit of space. Eventually Toa Mataratha,
He's dropped the ball.
wraps him up, and then it's an error.
Is there some rain?
Well, I think they've pasted this ball in Lurpak before the game this evening. I can't recall a game with an error rate like this, John.
We feared, didn't we, the rain would pour down and it would cause errors, but it stayed fine. The surface is perfect. I just can't see the reasoning behind so many errors. It's as if teams don't want to score.
From the first kick-off, neither team has been able to settle, have they? You've never felt like either team has settled into this game.
No. Anxiety levels have been through the roof, haven't they?
It's a semi-final, it's nervy. It's York in possession up over the 20. That's a bit more routine, just strong carries up the middle to make progress. McShane to Clark, who fires himself into that Halifax line. He stopped well though, line speed good again. Thompson, Ngannou almost goes through the line.
This is a good set though from York. They've been very direct, haven't they, with this set?
Thompson again, Harris. Connor Bailey up over the 40. This is the last, so much more of a regulation set. Here's Harris, they're going to go for it though. Harris is through, Harris has stepped through, he's got support, and York will score. Toa Mataratha goes in, but it's all about the work from Liam Harris, taking the gamble on the last tackle of the set, stepping his way through the line and then putting Toa Mataratha through to score what could be a crucial try, John.
Well, as a set, that was the best set for York City Knights of the night. They were very direct initially. They then shifted the ball to the right and it came to the last tackle. And the orthodox play, who does orthodox today, was the kick. But Liam Harris certainly decided, I'm going to run this ball. And it's a lovely little show and go. And his strength took him through the challenge of Jouffre. And it was an easy try for Toa Mataratha in the end. But it was that little play down the short side from Mataratha to Harris, and then he's supporting on the inside, and over he goes for 20 points to 6 scoreline. And should Harris kick this, is that enough? I think it may well be.
It's a microscopic detail, but Jouffre was just a split second slow getting out of marker, wasn't he?
It was.
And that probably made all the difference because Liam Harris was able to slice through.
But I think that, Lewis, was because of its last tackle, and you can think, oh, he's going to kick the ball. Well, he spotted he was slow out of marker, and he went through, and it was just a little show and go, then some strength in the hips as he burst through, and Mataratha was on his shoulder to score 15 metres or so in from the sideline. A big kick for Harris, and he hasn't been kicking well tonight. He's missed 2 previously, but he needs to nail this.
It's been an uncharacteristic night with the ball from the tee for Liam Harris, but as you say, to push this game out to a 16-point lead, I feel like it would be a big margin. You consider how well York have defended their own goal line, and they've had to defend their own goal line in big spells tonight because with ball in hand has been very error-strewn. Liam Harris makes no mistake on this occasion, and York do push out to a 16-point advantage, 22 points to 6. And I don't want to excuse some of the errors and the lack of respect the teams have shown the ball, John, but I think we should pay credit to the line speed and the intensity of defence throughout this game.
I would agree totally. But that was a smart play, that one, from Liam Harris, and that may well have sealed the game. We'll have to wait and see. But will normal service be resumed? Bailey Antrobus back onto the field, carrying the ball.
Wales international, of course. Bailey Antrobus, you'll know him very well, John. he's had some injury problems, hasn't he? So great to see him.
It is
enjoying his time with the York Knights, and at the moment,
very explosive player, Lewis, who's got good leg speed.
At the moment, it looks like he and the Knights are on their way to next week's grand final, but well, this game has thrown everything at us, so I'm not sure Mark Applegarth and York will feel like the job is done until the hooter sounds. McShane brings us out to the right hand side. Antrobus again just shrugs off the tackle of Brandon Douglas, who's back onto the field, up over halfway. This is the last, so York, I'm sure, will kick on this occasion. They do. It's Ngannou who puts another really tall one into the air. Graham does well underneath it, and just 16-point lead compared to a 10-point lead just gives York license to simplify things a little bit and maybe just play a little bit less football.
Very much so, and you know, really, you mentioned the defence, and I think both sides' defence has been very good and has contributed to the header count. But I think York's goal line defence has been absolutely sensational because they've had to do plenty of it and they've done it so well.
So up to the 40-metre mark come Halifax, and that ball comes loose again, but backwards, and there is space and numbers on this left-hand side if Fax can move it. Play the ball on the last, on the 30. That's come to ground again, but Nofaluma sweeps it up and then finds Whitby, but the tackle comes in, and we will turn the ball over on the York 30-metre mark.
Really impressive, though, this York defensive effort, isn't it? It's just so full of energy and hard work, and if structurally it breaks down, they just keep moving so that they solve the problem. And it's given Halifax, I mean, the only try Halifax have scored, Lewis, has been that breakaway interception.
Well, in a 27-game season to concede 299 points, you know that
they can defend.
Yeah. D up towards the 40, and actually when you look back to their other big night this season at Wembley in the 1895 Cup final, that was a tryless game. Defence from both teams on top that day, but in full evidence what we're seeing tonight is a York team that take a lot of pride in how they defend their own line. Can they put the Halifax line under some pressure here? Antrobus again up to the 20. This is the last. Harris on the right, Ngannou on the left. It's the right hand side they come, and Harris does kick on this occasion. Ben Jones-Bishop gets up and knocks it down. Jouffre picks it up. Could he be away? Still going, Louis Jouffre. Eventually the Halifax defenders, York defenders catch up with him, but he gets it away to Nofaluma, who's up to the 40, and good kick return from Halifax, gets them upfield.
A very good one.
And then a penalty as well will help them even more.
Yeah, it was good work from Jouffre, wasn't it, receiving that kick, and then Nofaluma has been a handful all night. But it's Jones-Bishop will palm the ball back, and it was Jouffre, Johnny on the spot there.
Distance on the kick as well, up towards the 20-metre line. So Halifax still giving everything they've got in this game. Johnson plays the ball 7 metres away. Whitby. Short ball from Whitby to Douglas. Douglas still rolling on. Scored last week, of course, against Oldham. Doesn't get another one on this occasion. They'll come short side. Whitby stabs a kick through, and I think that's a try. It's Crooks who's touchdown. Halifax hit back. They cut the deficit, and it is the boot of George Whitby that eventually opens York up.
Well, this time it wasn't an error that gave Halifax field position. It was interference at the play of the ball and a penalty, and this time they've taken full advantage, and they were happy to get to the last tackle and put a structured kick in, and that might be the message for the rest of this game. If you're up in that end, ask questions inevitably, but come up with a clever last tackle play, which is exactly what Whitby did. The York player played at the ball, it ricocheted off his foot, but it was Crooks there who followed up, grounded the ball, and now Whitby to kick the goal.
Which he does. So we are back to a 10-point deficit. It's game on.
Very much game on. Yeah, they'll be buoyed by that. You could tell from the reaction there. After this kick there, you see the kick then ricochet off a York player, but Crooks grounds them on, and look at the reaction now. They're running back to get back in position. They know time's running out, but they also know they're in this game.
Well, one more Halifax try in the next few minutes would really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah.
And you just felt like a little bit of relief, a little bit of the tension had been released around the stadium. It's just cranked back up again with that Halifax try. York are certainly not out of sight yet. So kick off deep left. Whitby takes it in and gives it to Calcott. He's met by Antravus and Cook, who stop him in his tracks, and then it's another penalty. York are digging themselves into holes again.
Yep. If they're not making headers, they're giving penalties away to give Halifax field position. And again, it was a great kick, was it, from the last penalty from Whitby, and he's just nailed another really good one. So they're starting the set in good ball once again.
To Halifax with the momentum, with the wind in their sails here in York, and Brandon Douglas ramps up the middle. Inman to Jouffre up to the line, and he'll just drop a short pass to Brad Graham, who's up towards the 20. Thought about the offload but decided against it. Just a slight bit of restraint there. Calcott, good carry, bumper cars his way through, gets a decent speed on the play the ball as well. Douglas next up, got himself over. Has he scored? Yes, he has. Well, now then, Halifax go back to back.
You could see, and they're now retreating very quickly. They believe now, they really do. A barge over try there at the end of a set where they played the ball real quickly. I really feel York look tired now. They've done that much defending on their own line, but it was just on the back of quick play, and they couldn't come forward off their own line. And Douglas is big enough, strong enough to come through the other side and score.
So Whitby converts, and it is game on here. 22 points to 18.
Yep.
22-18 in favour of the York Knights.
4-point ball game 10 minutes to go. The Halifax fans are absolutely going bananas.
Is bouncing. I can see the roof shaking.
Behind the
to our right hand side.
There's so much belief now in the players with blue and white shirts. And this York team look tired, Lewis. They've done so much defending in such a crucial area as on their own line. It has caught up with them. It's going to be a long 10 minutes for Mark Applegarth's Chargers.
So Harris gets us underway. Whitby drifts under the kick. 10 minutes to go, and we are still none the wiser as to who will be in next week's Betfred Championship Grand Final. Nothaluma in at first receiver. He's had his hands over all sorts.
Yeah. He's really coming to the game, hasn't he, Lewis, in this second half? But it's just caught up with York. The errors and penalties have just caught up with them.
So Whitby, another player who's really grown into this game, especially in the last 10-15 minutes or so.
The line speed's gone. The line speed's gone from York. Halifax are finding it pretty easy to clear their own end and get to the other end now.
Jouffre puts a tall kick in the air. Jones Bishop is underneath it. Halifax looks to try and shepherd him towards that sideline. And they do.
Yeah, mistake. A man with so much experience there as Jones Bishop. He'd found the floor. He just needed to stay on the floor. If he stays on the floor, as soon as a Halifax player touches him, the tackle's completed. But what he did, he shrugged off the initial challenge and regained his feet. And then Halifax see this as manna from heaven there. So they hold him up, push him over the sideline, and now once again they're starting deep in York's half.
Well, I'm not jealous of Tom Grant's role to play in this game. He's had some big decisions to make. Jones Bishop might just argue that when he was brought to ground, his ball carrying arm was on the floor and tackle was complete, but that is not how Tom Grant saw it or his touch judge. So it is Halifax who are 15 metres away from levelling up this semi-final and perhaps going into the lead for the first time tonight. York's goal line defence for the most part has been superb, but it is under a lot of strain now. It is all Halifax in the last 5-10 minutes of this game. They can sense it. Inman has a go from dummy half, wrapped up by 4 York defenders who just managed to slow things down. All the shape is stacked to the left-hand side. That's the way they come. Whitby, ball out to Nofaluma, who steps one way, then the other, gets the offload away back to Whitby. Whitby has a go at trying to jink his way through, puts a kick through. Jones Bishop drifts across, does well to get out of trouble and then find the floor.
Yeah, he did really well. And that was a bit of a wasted kick, I felt. You know, just stay up there, try and get a repeat set. But York are hanging on, they're hanging on. There's a kick through there.
Here's
and Jones Bishop did really well.
This is where you learn about yourselves, isn't it? Who's putting their hands up for a carry? Who's going to take responsibility here for York to try and turn the tide? That will help.
Yeah. They needed that.
Just has let a little bit of air out of the balloon.
They needed that. And again, it's is it Ngannou?
Yeah,
Ngannou carrying once again, which is the strength of his game. But a tired kick from Liam Harris. They really have done so much defending in their own half, York. They look absolutely drained.
Well, if the previous 73 minutes of rugby league are anything to tell by, from a Halifax perspective, they'll feel like they're not far away from causing an error and getting the ball back in hand. It's a 4-point game as well rather than 6, so drop goal is not really in the picture from a York perspective. I wonder if those Liam Harris misconversions may come back to haunt them. Ngannou darting through, calls for a high tackle from the York players and fans, not given by Tom Grant. So McShane brings us out to the right hand side to Thompson. Their experience could be crucial. It's York on the attack again. York could be into the corner if he's got that down. Toa Mataratha has scored a huge try, and he has. His second of the night, and he won't score many more important than that, John Keir.
I think that's the ball game now, and what a carry. It's been Ata Hingano's carry initially that got the penalty, and then from that it was Toa Mataratha who carried on the fringes and just was so strong and so quick that he carried the defender over the goal line. Just look at the shift here. It comes from Thompson and then it finds Mataratha, and he's just pinned his ears back, brushed Hugh Freya's side and taken Nofa Haluma over the goal line for a tremendous try. It's just the carries from these pivots that's really been so essential to York's success this season and possibly tonight to get them to a championship grand final.
And that sense of relief just washes back over the home fans here at the LNER, and those Halifax fans behind the sticks who have been bouncing around that south stand.
Well, they've just got to go short, you know, from this kick-off. I mean, it's been chaotic all game. Well, you may as well add a bit more chaos in there. Go short and try and claim the ball back, Halifax, because they have to score twice now. It's an 8-point ball game at the minute. 10 should Harris kick this very difficult kick from the sideline. But it's 2 scores regardless.
There'll be no rush here from Liam Harris with about 5 minutes left in this game. At some point, John, I'm going to ask you to try and come up with a Betfred player of the match. It's going to be a tricky one, I think, tonight.
Yes, this is going to be a tricky one.
But Liam Harris steps up from the sideline. Connection is good. Distance is good. Radar is good. And York extend their lead.
That's some kick. That is some kick, Lewis. In these conditions, I mean, it's a tremendous try from Toa Matahafa, and it's his strength and his speed that takes him over there. But what a kick that was. And they have gone short.
Predictably, they've come short, but Ben Jones-Bishop just plucks it out of the sky. When you need him to get it right, he does. Here's Martin. And it is a simple game plan now from a York perspective.
Well, they've already won the game twice. You know.
Okay. John, 10 minutes, 10 points the difference in this game. 3 minutes left. I'm going to come to you for your Betfred player of the match.
Yeah, well, I think I've got it if you want me to announce it.
Well, we'll just wait to see what happens. He's playing up nearly away on the left-hand side. But go on, John, your Betfred player of the match.
Well, there's been many contenders, and it's been a chaotic game. But I'm just going to have to go for, I think, Toa Matahafa has been instrumental in this victory, and he's come up with the crucial try at the very end to clinch the game, I feel. So that my Betfred player of the match in this championship semi-final is Toa Matahafa, jumper number 36 for the York City Knights.
Big tries in big moments from the York fullback, and it looks like it will be enough to see the Knights through to the grand final. It has been a brilliant semi-final. Halifax have played their part in a hugely entertaining 78 minutes so far as Antrobus goes through. Has he scored?
No.
His teammates thought he had. The referee disagrees. McShane will pick this up pretty much from
Offside.
the try line, and then too keen at the play of the ball from Halifax.
2 points here.
Yeah, Liam Harris straight away, two fingers in the air.
And it isn't so much for the points, it's more to run the clock down. As it took a long time with the conversion, this will be a long time as well. It's a pretty easy decision, Fairbank offside there. So.
And look, John, performance-wise, this is not off the top shelf from a York perspective by any stretch of the imagination. However,
there's a player of the match, Toa Matahafa.
Yeah, he
absolutely had an all-round tremendous performance in defence and also under the high ball, but carrying the ball, and that crucial try at the end that sealed the victory for York. Tremendous performance from the fullback.
It would have felt slightly, and this is the beauty of the playoffs, right? But it would have felt slightly odd if we'd have gone into next week's grand final and the team that hadn't lost the game since April weren't there. They have earned this all season, the York Knights, and while this has not been of their best vintage performance-wise,
they've won.
They have got the job done. Liam Harris smiling as he takes his time over the penalty. I think he's just put a few extra bits into his kicking routine there. Still using his full allocation of time for what is one of the simpler kicks, you would think. And he does brush it over.
Yeah.
So York move out.
12 points, isn't it now?
12-point lead, and as the clock goes into the red, not the official clock, of course, the referee watches all that matters, but the York fans finally starting to celebrate and enjoy themselves over on that far side, and it's a hugely exciting time for this rugby league club. Who knows what's around the corner in terms of those Super League applications, but tonight the Knights fans can look forward to a day in the sun next weekend in the grand final. That ball's come forward, so Halifax will get the ball back.
Well, we've just given Toa Matahafa the Betfred player of the match, and he comes up with an header. So commentators curses it.
It just runs into his own player, doesn't it? That's what causes the problem.
But I don't think at this stage it matters.
Well, I don't think there's enough time.
No, I don't think they can't score twice in.
The stadium clock has 2 minutes left on it. but we're not sure what Tom Grant's watch has on it.
I don't think there's time for 2 converted tries, Lewis. Even should the score directly from the scrum.
So out comes to Jouffre. The pass is down by his ankle, so that stops that play in its tracks pretty much straight away. Inman. And now it's Halifax who look tired and battle-worn. They've given everything tonight, the Panthers. Can hold their heads high, but as they work the ball out to the right-hand side, still not giving up on this game. Jouffre gets us moving again. Here's Inman. He's brought down 10 metres away. Out we come. Harris goes out and gets a shot at Jouffre, but
offside.
Well,
they're giving offside.
Offside, but also
they won't worry about the penalty. I'll tell you at this point, because they solved the problem with Halifax with the ball, and it's another set. But the clock's ticking all the time. The clock's York's friend.
So Halifax just a metre away from the York line, and maybe they'll look back on tonight and think about those numerous scrums in York territory that they were unable to turn into points, and think about what might have been. Inman brings us left, that goes to ground. It's going to be another penalty for offside.
Will he sim bin somebody?
Well, he's going to have to at some point if this continues. York won't mind particularly, because it takes more time out of the game.
Yeah.
No card on this occasion, but you feel like if that happens again...
If it happens again, I think somebody will be sat on the sideline, yeah.
So still we wait for the hooter. Halifax trying to bang down the door again. The ball goes forward. And last chance, Saloon slams shut, you feel, for the Panthers.
Well, again, the feature of this game has been the goal line defence of the...
And there is the hooter. York, they've not done it the easy way, but they are in the Betfred Championship Grand Final, which will be played here next weekend. Full details to be confirmed, but we have every intention of bringing you that one live and exclusively on the Sportsman as well. And it will be York who are in that Grand Final. We'll wait and see who they meet. But Halifax Panthers have played their part in an absolutely belting semi-final, John, but it is York's night.
Yeah, it's been a great semi-final. I mean, in an unorthodox way. It's been chaotic, it's been surreal, but it's been entertaining to the nth degree. And I think that it's been the correct result, because the goal line defence of this York City Knights defence has been absolutely tremendous. And, you know, the crowd there absolutely enjoying every minute now of this semi-final where they've qualified. So it really has been a very good night for the York City Knights, based on that goal line defence and some tremendous individual performances from key players.
So Mark Applegarth takes his team to another final, their second of the season, of course, after winning at Wembley in the AB Sundex 1895 Cup in June. But they are going after the big one next week, the Betfred Championship Grand Final, looking to be the second team in a row to complete the Championship Grand Slam, following in the footsteps of Wakefield Trinity last year. And well, we've seen what they've got on to do this season. But that is the tale of the tape after 80 minutes of frantic, chaotic, glorious rugby league under the lights here in York. Ben Jones-Bishop, feels like a long time ago, that try now, got things up and running, going length for the field. Galliano followed up. And then Halifax hit back with a length of field of their own, courtesy of Alfie Johnson. Kieran Buchanan then put York in what looked like control of the game. Two late salvos from Crooks and Douglas just turned up the heat again. And two tries from Toa Mata'afa clinching the win for York.
Yeah, it's been tremendous, hasn't it? And, you know, Toa Matahafa there, who won the Betfred Man of the Match, justifiably so, both tries in the second half.
Well, we can have a look back on how that game unfolded. John, I'm going to leave you to talk us through the highlights from that 80 minutes of Betfred Championship semi-final action. I'm going to head pitch side to get reaction from our Betfred player of the match and hopefully Mark Applegate.
Well, here's the first try there from Jones Bishop, and it came from that kick from Jouffre, which was cleaned up by Matahafa, who really was clever there in just releasing the speed to Jones Bishop to score behind the post. Then that was a crucial period of the first half where Ben Crooks was sin-binned for infringement against Connor Bailey. And after you see the referee give him the yellow card, 10 minutes off he goes. The very next set they came up with this lovely play there from Hingano, which released Galliano on the side there to score. And this was Halifax's sole riposte of the first half. An interception try there from Alfie Johnson all the way, and it took it from 10-0 to 10 points to 6. And we knew in this chaotic game, in this Edderstrong, in this highly penalties game, that they'd come back. And then this is the thing of beauty. Really, we enjoyed that left to right shift and a lovely finish from Buchanan at the end of that lovely soft pass from Liam Harris. And so inside at the at half time we go, and then second half it was a period of time when it was stalemate at 16 points to 6 before Liam Harris went down the short side and came up with a great try. And then Ben Crooks comes up with, and it really ignited Halifax here before Brandon Douglas barged his way over, and York were in trouble here, 22 points to 18, and they looked tired, and it looked everything was going Halifax's way. But then all of a sudden the player of the match came to the fore. Matahafa there with a great carry, and over he crashed to clinch the game for the York City Knights. And what a game it's been. And I think we've got Lewis Smith down on the sideline with some interviews.
Thank you for joining us so soon after that game. I'm sure from a coaching perspective that was quite a stressful 80 minutes of rugby league, but it is job done.
Yeah, job done. Listen, credit to Halifax. They never stopped fighting, did they? I thought we made life hard for ourselves. You know, we came up with a few uncharacteristic errors, especially coming out of the zone half. And then when we built the lead, I don't think we were too happy with how we managed it. But ultimately, some really good lessons for us to take into next week. You know, and in knockout rugby, it's just about getting the job done, and really proud that we found a way to get it done in the end.
It didn't feel like a game that either team were able to settle into. There wasn't a huge amount of rhythm, not a huge amount of arm wrestle. Was it nervy? Was it a mentality thing, or was it just defensive pressure perhaps?
Probably a bit of everything that you've just said. There will be nerves in there. You know, it's first time that a lot of players have been in this sort of big game, knockout rugby. You know, both teams are trying to cancel each other out, and we've got a lot of respect for Halifax. They went about the business really well. You know, and ultimately some great lessons for us to learn, and you know, we'll sit back now, see who we're playing next week and get ready for that.
Yeah, we'll find out who you'll meet in the Championship Grand Final tomorrow, of course. One more hurdle, one more step to complete what's been a remarkable season. Just how proud of this group and this club are you?
Really proud, and listen, it's job not done yet. You know, we'll dust ourselves off, we'll rest up over the weekend, but you know, we know we're in for a very tough game next week, and you know, 80 minutes away from achieving our goal, and whoever we play is going to be saying exactly the same. So yeah, one more to go yet.
Well, Mark, we'll let you go off and enjoy it. We can bring in the Betfred player of the match, Toa Matahafa. So I'll give you that. Firstly, congratulations, a win and a player of the match performance, but my word, you had to work hard tonight.
Yeah, mate, it was a topsy-turvy game. Halifax kept coming at us, but we're just lucky we came away with the win.
2 big tries for yourself in big moments of the game as well. It must be nice to get over in the semi-final.
Oh, 100%, especially being at home with all our fans and our family and, you know, our partners. So it was definitely something I'll put in the back pocket, the memories.
One more job to do next week in the grand final. We'll find out who you're playing tomorrow, but an opportunity to complete something really special for this club and this group of players.
Yeah, of course, we have a chance to create history here. We have such a fantastic group. The area, York itself, all the fans have been amazing all year, so it'll be nice to finish on the treble.
Well, congratulations, mate. We'll let you get off.
Nice.
Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Player of the match after 2 crucial tries. What a night of rugby league. We'll let you get off, Toa. I'll bring John Keir back in with me. John, we've just about got our breath back. Not an 80 minutes that I think anyone sort of predicted the way in terms that it would pan out, but probably the result we expected, and a fair result in the end.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, York made hard work of that. They kept conceding penalties. They kept coming up with yardage headers. But my word, they can defend their own line. And it was only when it looked as if they were slightly fatigued that Halifax got that wind in the sails. And it looked from 22 points to 6 as if we got a shot coming. It went to 22-18. And it was hey, lads, hey. But then the man of the match there, he just nailed it at the very end.
Bradford or to lose weight, of course, in the grand final next week. That's it. It's going to be a fascinating matchup, however you look at it, because Mark Applegarth will go away. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with the defensive aspect of it and the way that they finished that game off with the late try, but I'm sure he's got plenty of notes written down to work on as well.
He'll have a book full of notes, I'll tell you, and I will expect a very different performance from York in the final, because they'll have to be better than that. I think they'll have to be better than that in order to claim this championship. So there'll be lots of work to be going on, probably more in the team meeting room rather than anywhere else, because at the end of the season, players are inevitably fatigued and carrying bumps. But they'll know where they can improve, and I expect them to improve, but they'll have a heck of a challenge from either Bradford or Toulouse. It'll be a cracking final.
That's why we love this time of year, isn't it? The knockout aspect just creates an environment where anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and any type of game can happen as well. We just didn't expect this. We spoke before the game, and we expected a more conservative game, but it wasn't. It was hair and scare and call it what you want, but I'll tell you what it was. It was entertaining. And every fan who's been in here have been royally entertained, and we're going to have a great final next week.
Well, a superb season for the Halifax Panthers comes to an end in the semi-finals of the Betfred Championship. It will be the York Knights. They've won the League Leaders' Shield, of course. They won the 1895 Cup at Wembley, who have a crack next week at completing the clean sweep in the Betfred Championship Grand Final. Brilliant to have you with us, of course. Loads of rugby league to look forward to still. We'll be building up to the semi-finals on the last tackle on Wednesday night, as ever. But for the time being, in fact, Kyle Eastman's just snuck in alongside me. Kyle, you must be really disappointed with the result, but really proud of the way that your team had a crack at the league leaders today.
Really proud of the way we played this season. Really proud of what we managed to achieve. Ultimately, you can't do what we did in a big game like that, and that's what's disappointing.
It was a strange game in many respects. I think both teams probably made 3 or 4 games worth of errors throughout that 80 minutes. When you got yourselves back into it and it was a 4-pointer, did you feel like you had the momentum at that stage?
Yeah, absolutely, but ultimately we deserve to lose that game. There's no doubt about that, and that stems from your mindset, your mentality around how you approach your game. We had enough pats on the back last week, didn't we? About how tough we was and how direct we was and how good we played playoff footy. But ultimately you got to do it the following week, and ultimately we're not good enough to do that. So, yeah.
A year into this project, do you feel like the platform's been set over the last 12 months or so to really kick on with this club and this group?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I cannot knock what these lads have done this season. They've been, they deserve a lot of credit. But ultimately, if you want to be a team that challenges for silverware, you got to be able to do it back to back to back to back, and I don't believe that we're there yet. But we'll have a good break, and we'll come back pre-season and work hard, and we'll go again.
Well, Carl, commiserations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on
Thank
the
you
season.
much.
Great to have you with us on the Sportsman. I'll bring John back in. We'll just wrap up, John. Carl said that proud of his group for the season, but not good enough on the night, and probably a fair assessment.
I think it is a fair assessment, and I know he wanted to build pressure, and that's the thing that his team didn't do. They were given field position, but they just didn't maintain pressure and build pressure, which could have possibly brought this York defence down. But I think that's the tale of the night, is York's online defence. I thought it was sensational, and that's what's brought them home.
Well, the York Knights go marching on. They are the winners in the semi-final. They will be in next week's grand final. Keep your eyes peeled across our social media. Hopefully we'll have an announcement about that very, very shortly. All eyes on Toulouse tomorrow as they take on Bradford in the south of France. But that is it here in York. The Knights in the grand final. But what a night of rugby league it's been.